To my kitchen. I am Mohammed the Egyptian Cook, and for today's live, we are making one of my favorite appetizers. We're actually making an eggplant appetizer called bidingan mekhalil, which literally translates from Arabic to English as pickled eggplant. The eggplant itself is not pickled, it is just the actual technical or literal translation of the name. The reason why I'm making this today, so originally I was planning to make mahshi bidingan, which is stuffed eggplants with the rice and herbs and tomato sauce. But then after after multiple orders with Instacart and going back and forth with them, the first order I did not receive the eggplants at all. The second order I had to place again, and when I finally got the eggplants, I essentially received, so I wanted the baby sized eggplant. They're about, the size of a tennis ball, but majority of what I received are super tiny, like that of a golf ball or smaller, which I cannot use for making the mahshi bidingan. So I improvised and decided to instead rewrite the recipe to make these pickled eggplants instead, since these are more fitting for that. But in terms of stuffing it with rice and all of that, I had to pivot and do that instead. But I do plan to make them either in the following week or in about 2 weeks. So I will be making mahshi bidingan very soon as well. Lately, I have been going through and I've been wanting to go through all the different types of mahshi and do it. I kind of been spacing it out every other week. Like I made batatas mahshiya, which is stuffed potatoes. The potatoes are stuffed with lahma, with ground meat, and then baked with tomato sauce. Then I also made mahshi filfil, which is stuffed bell peppers. And then last week I made mahshi crumb, which is stuffed cabbage rolls. And if you have not watched that recipe video, the full recipe video is still exclusive to all of my YouTube members. But for everyone else, it will release publicly tomorrow. So definitely check that video out. I am sure you will really like it. That was hands down my longest live that I have done thus far. I think it took me like 7.5-ish hours. It was definitely greater than 7 hours. And overall, the mahshi crumb turned out really good. I was really satisfied with the results. So I hope you guys are satisfied with the final cut of the recipe video. So for today, we're making bidingan mekhalil, which is the pickled eggplant, since we had to improvise due to the Instacart nonsense. Soon we will be making, not for today's live, but in the near future, within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be making mahshi bidingan, which is the stuffed eggplant. And then I'm planning to make grape leaves as well too. Not in the same video. It'll be each mahshi will essentially be its own video. So grape leaves is on the list as well too, coming soon in the next like 2 to 3 weeks is what I'm looking at. What else? Zucchini is on the list as well. And am I missing one? Onions. What else? I think that's all I can think of right now. But essentially, I've just been in I guess you can call it like mahshi mode the past few weeks. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. If you've been part of my lives before, you know I always start with recording my voiceover audio lines, which I have on these sheets of paper right in front of me today. Today's recipe video is actually very light, thankfully. And if you're wondering why the font size is so large, this is Arial font, size 28-point font. The reason for that is because I am legally blind. I was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease. It is a form of macular degeneration, which affects primarily your central vision. To put it in perspective for you, if you have 20/20 perfect vision, what you see at 200 feet is what I see at no more than 20 feet. My vision is 20/200 in both eyes. That's essentially the best way to explain it for you, to put it in perspective. So what you see at 200 feet, I see at no more than 20 feet. With that being said, hence I have to do things a little bit differently, like making the font size super large in order for me able to see it and read it. And even with the font size being so large, I still have to hold it super close to my face in order to see whatever it is that I am reading. And to take it a step further, considering that we are live, I know a lot of you like to be able to interact with whoever it is that is, whoever your favorite content creator is that is live, with your comments and all that type of stuff. But given my vision disability, that is something that I am not able to do. Even standing at arm's length from my phone screen, not only can I not see myself on my phone, I cannot see the super tiny text of your comments as they are coming in. So with that being said, I still encourage you guys to comment and leave your thoughts and your opinions, but keep it respectful, keep the conversation amongst yourselves, keep it respectful, keep it kind, and keep it happy. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started with recording my voiceover audio. In Egyptian culture, we call this bidingan mechallil. First, remove the stem. Then cut a lengthwise slit down the center of the eggplant. Carefully split it open to create a pocket. While keeping the eggplant, let me redo that one. Let me redo the one before it too, because it's a continuation. So that way my tone for that sentence flows better. So let's try that one again. Carefully split open. Carefully split open the, nope. Carefully split it open, not split open the. Let's try it again. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Carefully split it open to create a pocket while keeping the eggplant intact. Much better. Now fry it over medium-high heat in olive oil with the lid on. Rotate the eggplant every few minutes. Once it becomes tender, remove it from the heat. In a mortar, combine fresh whole garlic, with roughly chopped hot peppers of your choice, ground coriander, ground cumin, sea salt, and black pepper. This mortar and pestle has over 4 decades of flavor in it. That's true. This one right here. Now think happy thoughts. And smash these ingredients together until it forms a nice, chunky, sauce-like consistency. Add the filling to the eggplant. Let me redo that one. Add a splash of the filling to each eggplant. Garnish it with fresh cilantro. Pair it with pita bread. And it is ready to serve. Egyptian style بدنجان مخلل. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all of my voiceover audio for this recipe video. Let's go ahead and rotate the monitor. Let's rotate this 90 degrees as well. Lock it in place. Let's check it out, make sure we're good to go. Looking good. Now, let me move some of this stuff slightly out of the way. Bring you guys over here this way, like so. Actually, let's rotate you guys a little bit. Here. I did this last time where I actually put you guys, I extended the legs of this tripod and I had you guys on the floor so that way you could see more, better perspective, much better perspective, I guess, of everything that's happening. And it also gave me a little bit more counter space to work with. So let me get everybody situated here. Let me set this here for now. Oops. All right. All right. I think that should be okay for everyone. And what you see on this monitor is connected to my main camera right in front of me here. So this is essentially what will contribute to the final cut of the recipe video. Set this here, start this over. First shot, I do have a quick and simple recording line. Start this recipe with some baby eggplant. So long as the eggplant is in focus, I said everything properly, we can move on with the next part. Start this recipe with some baby eggplant. Let me tilt the bowl down a little bit more so that way the camera can see the eggplant. Well, not the camera, but essentially you as the viewer for like whenever you're watching the final cut. So let me tilt it down like this. Instead of having it, I had it too high like that. All right, let's do it like that. We should be okay. Start this recipe with some baby eggplant. I think that one will be okay. Let's check it out. Eggplant's in focus. Start this recipe with some baby eggplant. I think we're good to go. All right. Put this here. Slide this over. This I don't need yet. We're gonna set that there. So these bigger ones are like about the size, to put it in better perspective for you, about like the size of like a tennis ball. Those are more appropriate for making the mahshi bidingan, which is the stuffed eggplant with the rice and herbs and tomato sauce. You can also use the Asian eggplants, which are longer and skinnier, about like the length of this knife, like a little bit shorter than that. So basically about that size. You can use that for making mahshi bidingan, but if you have these smaller baby ones, they are great. But then these, like, if I try to turn these into mahshi bidingan, the stuffed eggplant, it's going to be a nightmare for me to do. Let's see, like even this is like basically the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bit smaller than a golf ball. So that's why I decided to repurpose, and then instead of making the stuffed eggplants with rice, we're making it with the garlic and spices instead. So let me go ahead and adjust the camera down for these next few shots. I'm going to raise it up a little bit first and then tilt it down. All right, let's see how we look, and then we can go from there. Move this out of the way. That should be okay. So the challenge when I put you guys on the floor like this makes it harder, much harder for me to line up to make sure that you guys could see what I am doing over here. So let's just use, this is a lot bigger. Let's just put this here. All right. It looks like you guys can see everything. I hope. I can somewhat see myself. I think we should be okay where with everything is. All cameras are good to go. All right. This one should be okay. I just need to get one with my main camera. And then the rest, I can just go through and get them done. So we're simply removing the stem. You can chop it off. I don't like necessarily chopping it off because I don't like to waste food in general. So I just literally grab it by the leaf and peel it off, and it should rip off based on, you can sometimes get it in one go, sometimes you have to pull it leaf by leaf, but we'll see how it goes. That did not go according to plan. With the larger eggplants, it usually goes much easier. You just grab it leaf by leaf, rotate the eggplant around, and it usually comes off in like a few pulls as you go around the entire stem. So let's try that again. It's okay though, we have plenty of eggplant to try this with. All I need is just one good shot. And then we should be okay. So let's just get rid of that embarrassment. All right, this one should be easier, hypothetically speaking, because more of the leafy part of the stem is kind of going over. So you kind of just, lift it up a little bit and peel it. It's essentially what I do. So hopefully this one goes better. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, take two. Still don't like how that one turned out. Let me try one just with the knife. But the challenge is, because I'm holding it so far away, it's hard for me to actually seal. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing when I'm holding it that far away. I know what I'll do. I'll peel the leaves by hand, then I'll just cut the actual, once I remove like all the little leaves off, then I'll I'll cut the stem with a knife, and that should be okay for the shot. Could even just get it all in one go if I just lift it up like that, and that should be okay. Let's try it like this. That actually worked a little bit better. that. Slice and then rotate it like this once I'm all set. That should be okay. Get rid of those embarrassments. Don't need it. All right, let's do this. I think that one should be okay. All right, eggplant knife is in focus. Slice. I think that one should be okay. I'll do one more just to be safe. As long as it lines up with my voiceover audio where I say first remove the stem, when it comes, when I'm going through and editing this, then we should be good to go. Between those, it should be okay. Between those two, I should say. Let's go ahead and do the same for the rest. So while I'm going through and working on removing the stems to these eggplants, just wanted to give a shout out and thanks to a couple of my subscribers and members on YouTube. First, thank you to John Smoot for all of your continued support throughout the recent weeks and just in general, and even for last week with all of the paid memberships that you gifted to other of my YouTube subscribers. So thank you for all of your continued support and enthusiasm on my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you being a part of it. Also, another one of my YouTube subscribers and members. Oh my goodness. I should have written this down. What was his username? I think it was either Muhammad Adil or Mahmoud Adil. It was one or the other. I forgive me. I should have written this down. He actually sent me a message on my WhatsApp last week, just reaching out and expressing his appreciation for what I do on not just my YouTube channel, but just in general with the recipe videos that I share. So he actually sent me a message on my WhatsApp because last week I had mentioned, if you guys want to send me a DM, the best way to get in contact with me is through my WhatsApp, which you can find all my contact information on my website, theegyptiancook.com. So he actually did that, and then I asked him what his username was, so that way I could give him a shout out. But I should have done a better job of remembering it. I should have written it down. But I'll definitely go back for the following week's live to like moving forward. I'll make sure to write it down as more and more members reach out and join and all of that stuff. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll do a few more, and then we can move on to the next step. Hopefully today's live does not take my usual like average of 4 hours. If it does, then somebody should definitely yell at me, because it should not take 4 hours to make this. Unless, you know, you're making like 1,000 of these, then yeah, it should take 4 hours. But, you know, I'm not even making 2 dozen of these, so we'll see how it goes. I started this live at 2:30, I think. So let's see how long this one takes. Oh boy, oh boy. And based on how my schedule goes for this week, I may go for making the mahshi bidingan. I may go live. I may actually do that sometime in the middle of this week instead of waiting for Sunday. Regardless of what day I end up doing it, I will still go live. Oops. I will still go live when I make it. All right, so we got all the stems removed from all of this eggplant. Then cut a lengthwise slit down the center of the eggplant. So that's my voiceover audio. So I just need to make it long enough for that. And then, let's see, carefully split it open. That's the next step. I'll go with this one since it's a little bit longer. So we're simply just going to cut it down lengthwise, but not all the way through. We're not actually slicing this in half. You still want to keep it whole. Essentially, we're just cutting it down halfway, and then we're going to split it open to essentially like create a pocket. Hold it like right there. See how that looks. As long as everything's, you know, the eggplants, everything's in focus. Okay. I'm gonna try it again because I kind of did fall a little bit down. We'll do another one. Preferably one that is longer, more like oblong, oval shape, egg shape, whatever you want to call it. think that one was much better. Let's make sure it's all in focus. Okay, we're in focus. Oops. In focus. Slice. Good to go. So we're simply just cutting it down the center, but you still want the eggplant to be one whole piece. Be careful when you're spreading it. When you're spreading it open, because it may accidentally break, like or separate into two halves. If that happens, it is what it is. It's still okay. You can still move forward with this, but you're supposed to keep them whole. That one has some black seeds going on in there. No bueno. That is no good. The outside, it looks good. From the inside, not so much. All these other ones, though, are good. That simple. Just a slit lengthwise down, cut it about halfway down, and then do the rest with your hands by splitting it open, but keeping it whole like so. Think of like a clam or an oyster in a way. That's how you want it to look. That's how it should be, at least. Just like that. We got a few more to do, and then we can cook these. So there's different methods for cooking these. If you want to keep it clean, you can boil it. I'm personally not going to do it that way today. I prefer to fry it, like shallow fry it in some olive oil instead. That's another method. That's and then a third method. Some will actually deep fry the eggplant. I don't like doing that though. The reason for that, I haven't done it that way, but I won't even risk doing it that way, or even try doing it that way. And the reason for that is because eggplant essentially will act like a sponge when it comes to cooking oil. So it will essentially soak up all of that oil. So when cooking eggplants, like when you shallow fry it, for example, the pan that you're using, or pot, whatever kitchenware you're using, may seem dry like after the first like minute or two of frying. So then one might think, okay, I should add more oil to this. And you can sit there and keep on adding more and more and more oil to it, and the eggplant will essentially just soak it all up, literally like a sponge, until it takes on so much, and it will look okay, but then when you bite into it, a lot of that oil will just like ooze out, and you don't want that to happen. So that's why I like to shallow fry it using some olive oil. Then, you know, if it gets like really dry, just based on, you can tell by, you know, if it starts smoking, for example, then, you know, that definitely means there's not enough oil. At this point, it's just burning. So just use your best judgment for this. I have tried it with the other method of where you boil it in some water for like a few minutes. It doesn't really take that long. It's essentially until the eggplant becomes tender. Like regardless if you boil it in water or if you shallow fry it, you just want to cook it long enough for the eggplant itself to become tender. And once it becomes tender, that's when you, that's when you remove it from the heat. Let's see. Now I need to move this temporarily out of the way. This can go to the side as well. And I actually need to bring over, countertop stove, pan, and lid. Bring this over to the side actually instead. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. All right, this position is okay. YouTube, you guys can see the pot, and TikTok, you guys can see the pot. Now I just need to adjust my main camera onto this. So just give me a moment for this first shot. And you can see on that monitor what exactly I am doing as we speak until I get back into frame. First shot. Now we need to adjust up. So that way the focus is on in the pan. So let's raise this up even higher. You know what? I'm actually going to bring this up on the counter, like so. Tilt this down, zoom out, straighten this out. All right, eggplant looks like it's going to be in focus. We should be okay. Just making sure, because I do make the mistake of sometimes it will look like it's in focus to me, but then when it comes time for me to edit and I'm going through all my clips, some things will not be in focus and it drives me crazy, but it is what it is. It comes with the territory of my vision disability. So let's go ahead and get started. Turn the heat back on. All right, that should be okay. So I have just enough oil to almost cover the entire bottom of the pan. Then we're going to add the eggplant in. going to need some tongs. Plate for the tongs. Still needs a little bit more time. Let's try it again. Give it like 15-ish more seconds, and then we'll add the eggplant in. All right, let's do this. Let me go wash my hands. Let me adjust the temperature just a little bit. I'm just turning it down a little bit. Eggplant's in focus. We're good to go. Now we're just going to let it cook for a couple minutes on the first side with the lid on. The reason why we're putting the lid on for two reasons. This will help trap steam, because the whole purpose of us cooking the eggplant right now is to essentially get it nice and tender. So putting the lid on, that will help trap the steam and help with the cooking process. So that's the first reason. And the second reason why the lid on is because it likes to splash up like shots of the oil, likes to splash up and everything. So that's another reason as well. But the primary reason is to trap the steam, the heat, to help cook the eggplant, to make it nice and tender. So every like 2 to 3 minutes or so, like 2 to 4 minutes, let's just say, just based on the size of the eggplant and the temperature and all of those, all that good stuff. You just want to rotate it to the next side. Same thing, let it cook for a few minutes on each side. Put the lid on. Once it's nice and tender, then we remove it from the heat. And when it comes to shallow frying it. You want to be careful not to add a lot of oil at once because the eggplant does like to soak all of the soak up the or absorb the oil, kind of like a sponge in a way. So just be careful if you're using the like the frying method. In terms of how much oil you use, only add as needed. Um, and that way it does not absorb so much oil when you go to bite into it. It's going to just ooze a lot of oil out, and nobody wants that to happen. All right, let's see the time. It is 3:16. So in one more, we're going to go ahead and rotate these around, and then we should be good to go. We're going to let it cook for a few more minutes and go from there. I do have a recording line as well. Be careful not to add, which is basically what I just explained to you guys, my recording line, where I say be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. It's very violent in here. That was like so unnecessarily loud. All right, let's do this. All right, I need to pull this camera back for my recording line. So just bear with me as I adjust the camera, please, and thank you. One more adjustment, just slightly tilt it down. Be careful not to add a lot of oil, be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. Be careful not to add a lot of oil. Be careful not to add a lot of oil. Be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a Be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb. Be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. Okay, let's try this again. Be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. Careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. Be careful not to add a lot of olive oil at once because the eggplant will act like a sponge and absorb it all. I think that one was much better. Let's just make sure that we should be good to go. I think that should be okay. Gotta put the lid on with such a serious, stoic look. Now let's adjust and get ready for the next shot. Tilt this down, zoom in. Let's give it a look, and we'll go from there. Let's see, once it becomes tender, remove it from the heat. This should be, let me tilt it down just a little bit more. Nope. Eggplant's not in focus. Let me go back up on the counter. So let's adjust. Bring this up like so. Tilt this down. So as the eggplant becomes tender, it will essentially like soften and not like not curl up, but it won't keep like the like it's perfect like smooth shape on the outside. It will kind of like fall in on itself, if that makes sense. You'll see in just a moment here once we remove this first batch out. tried to like open it up a little bit so that way the inside can cook better. But I don't want it to break. Camera just overheated. Turn it off. And one of the eggplants I accidentally broke, or to where the two halves essentially severed. It's okay. Try to prevent that from happening in general. You want them to still be whole like so, but kind of like a clam shell going on, to where it's still open, but in one open halfway, but still one piece. So in about 1 or 2 minutes, what's going on in here we can take out of the pan. The camera should not be overheated by then. It should give it enough time for it to cool down. And then we will move forward with cooking the rest of these. I already got the shots for what I need for the cooking process. So we can just cook what's left, and then we can move on to making the filling. Let's try this again. Hopefully the camera had enough time to cool down for a bit. Let's get the shot that we need and go from there. Let's temporarily turn this off. So 2 of these ended up breaking, which it is what it is. We can improvise. It's not the end of the world. But essentially, you want the eggplants to become tender. Take, based on the temperature and the size of the eggplant, it will vary how long it will take. But essentially, like this one right here that you have right in front of you here, it's still a little bit hot. This is how you want it to look, to where the outer part's kind of like curled up in a way, but then the inside hot. The inside essentially browns, like golden browns, and becomes nice, soft and tender. So that's the goal that you want to achieve. So let me wash my hands really quick. Let me move the camera out of the way. That way you can go ahead and cook up the rest. Let's just move this, turn it off like so. So right now I'm putting them in open side facing down. Let's add a little bit more olive oil for this next batch. Just a tiny splash. Lid is on. I'm going to go ahead and prepare the last few, just in case we have any other technical difficulties during this cooking process. I want to do the best I can to avoid having the eggplant from breaking into 2 halves, like 2 separate halves, I should say. So we lost 2. I'm still going to use them, but for the purpose of the video, I want to show the ones that are still intact. For those of you who are just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad the Egyptian Cook, and for today's live, we are making Egyptian style pickled eggplant. So the eggplant is not actually pickled in the traditional sense. That is just the literal translation of the name from Arabic to English. In Arabic, we call this bidingan mekhallil. So the word bidingan, that is what is in reference to eggplant, and mekhallil is the term in reference to pickled, when you do like an exact translation. How did this name come up in our culture for this dish, considering that it is not pickled in the traditional sense? I honestly do not know. That is something that I would actually have to research to find out. But this dish is a very popular appetizer in Egyptian culture. You could serve it alongside anything really, rice, chicken, lahma, anything, food with ta'miyya, fish, literally anything that you can think of. You can pair this alongside as an appetizer. So I was originally planning to make bidingan mahshi, or mahshi bidingan, I should say, which is stuffed eggplant with the rice, herbs, and tomato sauce. But then, so after ordering these baby eggplants through Instacart, a lot of them ended up being, you know, super tiny like this, which you really can't necessarily use for making mahshi bidingan. I ended up having to place 2 orders just to get these eggplants, because the first one, the shopper said they got the eggplants, but they were not delivered. So I had to place a second order just to get these, and the shopper picked a lot of, you know, these tiny golf ball sized eggplants. And I did not want them to go to waste, and I still wanted to be able to go live today and produce a new recipe video. So I decided last minute, just going to repurpose these eggplants for another dish. This one is no bueno, black seeds on the inside. So we can set that one to the side. This one also no bueno, black seeds on the inside. Oops, those are the stems, don't mix them. Whatever, it happens. All right, this can go in the dishwasher. Let's go ahead and rotate these. It's been a few minutes. These have cooled down much more now. So this is essentially the reason, as it just ripped when I picked it up. It is what it is. Let's try this again. All right, this is a good one right here. Where's the opening? Where's the opening? Where's the opening? There we go. Please don't rip. All right, that one ripped. You know what? It is what it is. We'll get it with the next batch. We'll go from there, and I'll show you guys. But essentially, just imagine that this is still, the second half is still there. It should be, you know, it should have like wrinkled, kind of like that wrinkly look on the outside with the skin, and the inside should be that golden brown color, and should be nice and tender. That's essentially what you want to happen for the eggplant as it is cooking. So let me go ahead and wash my hands. Let's try this again. Also, in other news, for what's coming next, not in terms of this recipe video, but for what I plan to make in the near future. So recently I've just been going through, and I've been going through and making mahshi in general. So I made mahshi filfil, which is stuffed bell peppers, a few weeks ago. For those of you who haven't watched that recipe video, definitely check it out. Or any of these recipe videos that I'm about to announce, definitely if you have not watched it, go check them out and let me know what you think. But I've been going through and I want to make mahshi in general. So I've already made mahshi filfil, which is stuffed bell peppers for that one. That one is a vegan recipe where it's stuffed with the rice, herbs, and tomato sauce. I also made batatas mahshiya, which is stuffed potatoes. That one is potatoes stuffed with lahma, with ground meat, and then baked in the oven in a homemade tomato sauce. So that one was really good as well too. And then my most recent one that I just made last week was mahshi krum. That one is stuffed cabbage rolls. That one turned out really, really, really well. A few of them did, stick to the bottom of the pan when I went to do the flip. Whatever, it is what it is. But other than that, the flavor and everything else turned out absolutely amazing. I was really satisfied with the results. And that recipe video will post tomorrow for everyone publicly. As of right now, that one is still exclusive for my paid members on YouTube. I'm also planning to make mahshi vidingan soon. That's originally what I wanted to make today, but given these tiny golf ball sized eggplants, I had to improvise and switch it up to make this instead. So stuffed eggplants is on the list. I also have grape leaves on the list as well too. That is coming within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then stuffed onions as well, mahshi basal, or stuffed onions. That's on the list. And zucchini as well. And of course, hamam mahshi, which is stuffed pigeons. That one, however, is a challenge because it is difficult for me to find good quality pigeons at any of the markets near me. Anytime they're available, they usually look bruised and beat up and no good. So let's go ahead and rotate these. Looks like another one broke, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world for this recipe video. We can still improvise. We can still use it. All will be well in the end. After this batch, we have one more batch to fry, and we should be good to go. We can move forward with making the filling for this recipe video. About a few more minutes for this batch, then we will remove it from the heat. Another dish that I have planned, but for this one specifically, I will not be going live for. The reason for that, it's a several day process. Let me actually grab it to give you guys a look as to what it is. I plan on making termis. I honestly can't remember the name of this bean in English, to be honest with you. My mind's drawing a blank right now. Here, let me give you guys a close up. Here you go, YouTube. Here you go, TikTok. In Arabic, we call it termis. It's essentially, we eat it as a snack. If you ever go to the city of Alexandria or Scandaria, in Arabic, as we call it, this is a really popular snack that you can just, it's a very salty, the way it's prepared, you essentially, it's as if you're pickling it, but minus the vinegar. So there's no vinegar involved. It's literally just water and salt. But it takes about a week to prepare. It's just a lot of soaking. The process is essentially cooking it for a little bit, then soaking it every single day, and swapping out the water, 1 to 2 times a day. Then on the final day, that's when you add fresh water and a whole lot of salt, and then you just let it sit for a couple days. Then you just eat it as a snack. Like there's no sauce, no nothing. Just I remember they would sell them in these little kind of like lunch bags, I guess you can call it, like those little clear like sandwich bags. Just buy them by the handful or however much you want. And then you don't eat the whole bean though, because it does have like a really thick, like foggy looking skin or outer shell, whatever you want to call it. So you literally just grab one bean, you do like a little twist, kind of like a twisting motion like that to break the skin, and it also pushes the bean out, and then you just eat it. You just pop it in your mouth, and it's a quick, healthy, fun, well, I don't know about how healthy because of the amount of salt you use, but it's a really good, quick, salty snack, I guess. So I'm super excited for this one because it's one of my favorite snacks that I would go for anytime I was there, especially in Scandaria. So that one is also coming soon. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for this. That should be okay. Let's move this out of the way once again. And let's go ahead and cook the final batch. Turn the heat back on. Add a little bit more olive oil for this final batch. And we should be good to go. Let me go ahead and clear off my cutting board from the leftover stems. So here's essentially how it should look. So it should be like this, where it's still intact. I don't want to mess with it too much or pick it up, because I know if I pick this one up, for example, right now, it's just going to rip. So I'm just going to wait till it comes time for me to actually fill it. But some of these already did break, like this one where they separated the two halves. It's okay, you could still use it, but you want to keep the eggplant whole. That is the goal. So let me wash my hands, and we can go from there. Let's see what's next for me to record once it becomes tender. I just did that. All right. And after this batch, we're done with the cooking side of things. We're gonna set this. We're gonna move the put the countertop stove away. Then we're going to work on making the filling for this. Be careful as you're rotating them around, because you're considering that the lid is on, it's trapping the steam, which helps cook the eggplant and make the eggplant, helps the eggplant become tender. But then it also, that steam, that moisture reacts with the oil, and that's why you get such a loud and violent sizzle when that happens. So just be careful when you're going through this process and frying the eggplant. Grab another plate for this. Set that there for now. This can stay here. Do have some parsley, or not parsley, cilantro that we need to just simply mince. Let's go ahead and do that while we are waiting on the eggplant. Actually, let's slide this over like that, and I'll be over here instead. So the cilantro will be used at the very end, just as garnish for this dish. simple. Few more minutes for this batch, and then we can go ahead and move forward with making the filling. And the filling, it's very simple. The main ingredient is the garlic, and then you can use any type of hot pepper of your choice for that optional added heat, and then just a few simple spices. Smash it all together, mince it all together, whichever method you want to use. And then that essentially is what makes the filling for this appetizer. Still needs more time. It needs to be a little bit more tender. You'll be able to tell like before you touch it too, because the outside of the like if you look at any of these, like the outsides, they kind of like curled up on their way, kind of like same effect that your fingers have after being wet for so long. So if the outside does not start to curl up or get those ridges, that should be a sign for you that it is not yet tender. Oops. I think I broke like half of these eggplant. Whatever. It is what it is. It's all gonna get eaten anyways. You know, it's not the end of the world if they break in half. Um, so it'll be okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who knows? Based on how all these turn out, I might have to improvise and find a grocery store that actually has, you know, I'll just go in person, and that way I don't have to worry about these tiny, you know, golf ball or ping pong sized eggplants, and get a better suitable size for what I want to make. Not only for this, but also for the mahshi bidingan. Whatever. It is what it is. What happens happens. If it breaks, it breaks. If it doesn't break, it doesn't break. You know, it is what it is. What matters in the end is that it still turns out good in terms of flavor and everything, and then we should be good to go. Just a couple more minutes on these last few that are in here, because these are like the bigger ones. So you just need a little bit more time to cook and become uh, tender. So let me actually move this to the stove behind me. Let's go ahead, get rid of this nonsense, no longer need it. Let's get ourselves ready for what's next. Just a little bit of water on the towel. Let's clean up our area. Need to adjust my camera for this next sequence of steps. All right, let's check on this last batch. All right, last batch. So we're done with the cooking side of things. Now we can move on to the smashing side of things. So let's go ahead and set all this eggplant to the side. Now let's smash some stuff. This can go to the side as well. Actually, all of this can. So once I start smashing, if there's anything on the counter, especially like the knife or anything that can easily move, it's gonna create a whole lot of rattling noises, and we don't want that to happen. These I still need because we're about to use them. All right. Well, All right, so up first I put in the garlic, followed by a banana pepper. You can use like any type of, or not a banana pepper. I think it was like a Hungarian pepper, banana pepper. Are they the same? I'm not sure. You can use any type of spicy pepper that you want for optional added heat. That was coriander. Next is cumin. Sea salt and black pepper are the last two. Now we just smash. me wash my hands because I do need to set myself up for a recording line. So I do need to adjust my camera. Here's how it looks so far in here. It still needs more. Oops. It still needs more smashing to happen. There you go, YouTube. There you go, TikTok. Definitely needs that more smashing. So let's see here. Oh, my arm will hurt from all this smashing. Okay, خلاص. Go use a mini food processor. I have issues. Whatever. It is what it is. I make myself laugh. Whatever. It is what it is. I think that one's a winner. We definitely have more smashing to do. I do need to adjust. Let's see. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to keep the camera right where it is. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I'm going to keep the camera right where it is. I do need to continue smashing, though. Because I do have another recording line, but I need to make this much more finer. And then we can go from there. Here's how it looks so far. It's a mixture of fresh garlic, some I think Hungarian peppers, I think it was called, uh, some coriander, cumin, sea salt, and black pepper. Oops, did not want that to happen. Sorry about that. Boy, oh boy. This will serve as the eggplant filling. Let's make sure we're good to go. Okay, it's in focus. This will serve as the eggplant filling. Should be okay. I do need to get another shot of me smashing close up. That should be okay. So here's how it looks. You could use a food processor for this step, but using a mortar and pestle is much better. Plus, this one specifically has over 4 decades of flavor in it. Despite its small size, if this was a little bit bigger, it would be um, much easier for me to use. But I absolutely love it so much. Actually, when I moved out of my parents' house, this was one of the very few things that I wanted from the kitchen. It was this, a potato peeler. What was the other thing that I wanted? And and a spoon from I'll show you guys the spoon real quick. Let's see. The spoon that I would use all the time when I was a kid. Oh, and one other thing. And this Pyrex bowl thing, because I would use it all the time when I lived there. Like all the time when I would cook, whatever. Plus it's oven safe, and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was one of the, but this especially I really, really, really wanted because it has so many years of flavor essentially infused in this. This is like really old school mortar and pestle. I can never say mortar properly because I have issues with the R's, but whatever. It is what it is. All right, let's move forward with what's next. All right, let's wipe down my area. Let's grab a plate. Plate full of broken eggplants. Whatever. It is what it is. It'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. Or is it? Who knows? Let's see. Moving up in the world here. So far, so good. All right. So this should be okay. I need to adjust this camera. Let's see. Let's bring it up on the counter. Tilt this all the way down, zoom out. Might as well go back to the original height that I had. Whatever, just bear with me. I'm trying to get it to stay in focus of all the eggplant not just like the ones at the bottom of the plate or at the top of the plate. So just give me a moment, please. And thank you while I get this situated. All right, that should be okay. So first I'm just going to go through and put like a dab of the filling in each one, and then I'm going to go back and level them out and then go from there. You just want to put a little bit in each one. So right now I'm just better spreading it out. So that way it's not in just one heaping pile in the middle of the eggplant. Oops. me go wash my hands. Be right back. That was fresh cilantro. This needs to zoom out for this next shot. Yes. This next part, I'm actually going to move it back over here. Just give me one moment to align my camera for this next one. And you guys can see the chaos as it's happening on that other monitor. All right, that should be okay temporarily. Oh, nope. I need to grab a smaller plate. Put this. Oh my goodness. I'm driving like my own self crazy right now. So just. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh my goodness. This should not be that complicated. I want to slide in with the bread just like that, but I want to get the. All right. This should be okay. The eggplant looks in focus to me. Let me just tilt this down a little bit more. Too low. Just a little bit. Oh. All right. Eggplant looks like it's in focus to me. Oh boy, oh boy. Remote's over here. That's not the remote. This is. All right, let's do this. That took way too long. Sorry about that. Whatever. It is what it is. You know. All that just for that nonsense. I quit. I'm done. I'm hanging up the apron. Well, that would imply that I wear an apron, which isn't going to happen, but it is what it is. All right. Now I just need a close up of uh, just the eggplant itself. Should I do it from here or should I? That should be okay. And then I also need to get one like this. this, see how we look. This is essentially just for my thumbnail for the video itself. Oops. All right. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation. That's part one of the recording line. Let's do this. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. Even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. The name pickled eggplant comes directly from the Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. Did I say that right? I have no idea. Let's find out. I mixed up my words and took some words and turned them into adverbs I should not have. Like I said, directly from instead of from the direct Arabic to English translation. So I should say from the direct Arabic to English translation, not directly from. So let's try it again. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. It should be that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try this again. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to Arabic. Oh my goodness. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translate. I messed up before I even started. This is embarrassing. All right, let's try this again. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. I think I got it that time after, the 17 times that I messed up. But I think I got it. Oh my goodness. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation. All right, I'm going to try it again. We'll go from there. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. I think that one was good, but like my hand, like body language kind of felt weird. I don't know. Let's see. Let's try it again, but with better body language this time. I said everything okay, but let me improve by like my hand motion. Like, why am I pointing at this as I'm saying Arabic to English? I should be pointing at this as I'm saying the name pickled eggplant. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Take 37. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation. The name pickled eggplant The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. I think that one's a winner. I hope. Let's find out. The name pickled eggplant comes The eggplant's not even in focus, but I am. What the? The eggplant does not look in focus. Let's try this. Oh my goodness. Why? Why? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. We should be okay like this. The name pickled eggplant comes from the name pickled eggplant comes from the air the name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. I think I said everything okay that time. Hopefully the eggplant is in focus. It looks like it is. It still kind of looks like it's out of focus to me. Oh my goodness. The name pickled eggplant comes from the direct Arabic to English translation, even though the eggplant is not pickled in the traditional sense. What's going on here? I don't know what that notification is. It just came up on my TikTok. It's not the CAPTCHA, so it's probably something else. Whatever. It is what it is. That should be okay. For more Egyptian food, culture, and spontaneous yelling, click join to become a member. It is one of the best ways to support what I do. It's not in focus when I'm holding it like so close to me. I don't understand why. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's try this again. For more Egyptian food, culture, and spontaneous yelling, click join to become a member. It is one of the best ways to support what I do. All right, it looks better in focus now. Thank God. Okay. Oh my goodness, that was a disaster just waiting to happen. They almost slid off the plate. Whatever. You have to try this Egyptian food. Let's make pickled eggplant. I'm done. I keep on messing up on every single one of my words today. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You have to try this Egyptian food. Let's make this Egyptian style pickled eggplant. All right, please be in focus. Please be in focus. Please be in focus. You have to try this Egyptian food. Let's make this Egyptian style pickled eggplant. I think we're okay. You have to try this Egyptian food. Let's make this Egyptian style pickled eggplant. That one was a little better, but they're starting to slide all over the place. Let's see how that one looks. Have to try this Egyptian food. Let's make this Egyptian style pickled eggplant. Oops. Yalla bismillah. Yalla bismillah. Yalla bismillah. Yalla bismillah. Yalla bismillah. One of those should be okay. As long as the eggplant's in focus, as long as the food is in focus, we're good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Here you go, YouTube. Here's the final look before I go radio silent and eat. There you go, TikTok. Mm-hmm. That was an epic fail. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's try this again. Mm-hmm. those of you who is called ulla in Arabic. I have no idea what the literal translation to English is, like the exact translation. But it's essentially it's a clay pot, not plot, a clay pot that we use for drinking water. This is like old school tradition. It has means for us to drink water. One of the good things about it is that it keeps your water nice and cool, even if you just like let it sit out, countertop or whatever the case is. Like I never put this in the refrigerator. Keeps the water nice and cool. As you can see towards the bottom half of the ulla, you can see that it is darker in color and there is condensation happening towards the bottom there. That is basically your way of knowing where the water, two things. It's letting you know what the water level is, and it lets you know that the water is nice and cool or cold that you have in here. So this ulla, you can fill it basically up to here, but as you can tell from the condensation, it's about, somewhere near the halfway point. Actually, we'll keep this down here for now. But other than that, that essentially wraps up today's live, where we made this Egyptian style pickled eggplant, also known as bidingan mekhalil. It is the actual like literal translation from Arabic to English. It's not pickled in the traditional sense. We essentially fried. We removed the stem of the eggplant, sliced it in half to open it up, and then we fried it for a few minutes on each side in some olive oil. Then once it became up until it became, then we removed it from the heat. Then in a mortar and pestle, using a mortar and pestle, we combined, we crushed up some fresh whole garlic, a Hungarian pepper, I think it was. You can use any type of hot pepper you want for that optional heat. And then we added coriander, cumin, sea salt, and black pepper. And we smash until we came up with this saucy-like result or paste in the end. And then we simply split open the eggplant, and then we added some of the filling to the center of each one. We garnished it with fresh cilantro, and then we served it alongside some fresh pita bread. Originally, what I had planned to make today was mahshi bidingan, which is stuffed eggplants, not stuffed in this sense, but stuffed in the sense with rice, herbs, and the tomato sauce. The reason why I switched to this is because, as you can see, a lot of these, so I had ordered the baby eggplant, but a lot of them ended up being the size of basically like a golf ball or a ping pong ball. It was too small for me to use for mahshi bidingan, the stuffed eggplants, and I did not want to, I had to repurpose them for something else, and I still want to be able to go live today and work on a recipe. So I decided just to improvise and make this instead. And plus, on top of that, I had to place 2 orders with Instacart just to get these in the first place. First order was not, the shopper said that they got the eggplant, but in the end they did not. So I had to place a second order, like a rush order, whatever you want to call it, for me to get these. And then the shopper picked, super tiny eggplants that were too small for me to use for the stuffed eggplant. With that being said, I am still planning to make it. If I'm not going to make it next week, Sunday, based on how my schedule is, I may possibly do it sometime like during this week. I don't know exactly what day. If I don't do it, within the weekdays, I'm definitely going to do it next week, Sunday. I'm also planning to make other, so recently I've been on a mission to make every single mahshi, essentially, like in terms for like a recipe video. So I already made the stuffed bell peppers, stuffed potatoes, and my most recent one, the stuffed cabbage rolls. So up next will be the mahshi again, the eggplant, and then grape leaves will be coming soon as well too, within the next couple weeks or within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I also have stuffed onions planned, stuffed zucchini, and stuffed pigeon as well, hamam mahshi. So that's that. Other than that, I guess that concludes today's live. I think today's new record or high score. I started this live at like 2:30, and it's basically 5:30 right now. So 3 hours. So I think that's my high score for shortest live ever. But other than that, thank you everybody for tuning in today. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I am Mohammed the Egyptian Cook, and that concludes today's live. Thank you all, and have a wonderful night.